Your hand is on the jar lid, you twist, and nothing happens. You try again, a little harder this time, and your fingers just ache instead of the lid budging. That moment, the one where making dinner suddenly feels like a wrestling match, happens to more people than you'd think. And it has nothing to do with cooking skill. Arthritis, past injuries, reduced grip strength, even ordinary morning stiffness, all of it can turn simple kitchen tasks into something frustrating and, honestly, a little discouraging. The good news is that kitchen tool makers have quietly solved most of these problems already. You don't need to give up cooking, ask for help with every task, or settle for pre-made meals you didn't really want. You just need the right gadget doing the gripping, twisting, and pressing for you. Here are 15 kitchen gadgets built specifically to take the strain off your hands so you can keep cooking the meals you love on your own terms without the fight. Gadget number 1, the electric jar opener. Picture a jar of pasta sauce or pickles sitting on the counter, lid sealed tight from the factory. For most people, that's a 2-second twist. For someone with reduced grip strength or joint pain, it can mean minutes of struggling, and sometimes a jar that simply never opens without help. That kind of daily defeat adds up, and it often leads people to quietly avoid recipes that call for jarred ingredients altogether. An electric jar opener, like the countertop models made by Kitchen Mama, solves this without any twisting motion at all. You set the jar underneath, press a button, and the device grips the lid and rotates it open on its own, working on lids from about 1 inch up to nearly 4 inches wide. Most of these models also double as bottle openers for wine or beer caps. It's one of those tools that quietly gives you back a task you didn't realize you'd stop doing. And once your jars are open, the next challenge, usually waiting in the drawer, is something almost everyone underestimates: kitchen scissors. Gadget number 2, loop handle. Kitchen scissors. Standard scissors ask your fingers to squeeze 2 small rings together over and over, which is exactly the motion that flares up joint pain fastest. Whether you're snipping herbs, opening stubborn plastic packaging, or trimming fat off chicken, that repetitive pinching can leave your hand sore for the rest of the day. Loop handle scissors change the mechanics entirely. Instead of finger holes, they use a spring-loaded handle shaped like a wide loop, so you close them with a gentle full hand squeeze rather than a pinch, and the spring pushes them back open for you. Many versions also include a serrated edge for gripping slippery items like chicken skin or bread bags. It's a small swap, but it removes one of the most repeated, most punishing motions in the kitchen. Once your scissors stop fighting you, the next tool worth rethinking is the one you probably use at almost every single meal: the knife. Gadget number 3, the rocker knife. Chopping vegetables. The traditional way means gripping a handle tightly while pushing down and forward, a motion that relies heavily on wrist and finger strength most people don't think twice about until it starts to hurt. For anyone with arthritis, tremors, or reduced hand control, a standard chef's knife can turn something as simple as dicing an onion into a genuinely risky task. A rocker knife is built around a curved blade and a handle positioned directly above it. So instead of sawing or pushing, you simply rock the blade back and forth with a light downward motion. That design shifts the work from your grip to your body weight, and it also keeps your fingers further from the blade's edge. Many people find they can prep a full meal's worth of vegetables without the hand fatigue a regular knife causes. Of course, a good knife only helps if the rest of your utensils aren't working against you too. Gadget number 4, foam built-up grip utensils. Think about stirring a pot of soup or flipping pancakes with a thin metal spatula handle. That narrow grip forces your fingers to clench tightly just to keep the tool steady, and over a full meal, that constant tension can leave your hand cramped and sore. Built-up grip utensils, like the OXO Good Grips line, solve this by replacing standard handles with thick, soft rubberized grips, sometimes an inch or more in diameter. That extra width means you can hold the utensil with a relaxed, open hand instead of a tight pinch, and many sets add a slight bend to the handle so your wrist stays in a more natural position while stirring or serving. These are often sold in full sets: spatulas, spoons, whisks, and turners, so you can outfit your whole utensil drawer at once. With your hands more relaxed at the stove, the next stop is usually the pantry, where another everyday task quietly wears people down: opening cans. Gadget number 5, the battery-operated can opener. A manual can opener asks for two things at once: a firm grip on the handle and a steady squeezing and cranking motion to cut through the metal lid. If your hands tire quickly or shake slightly, that combination can turn a can of beans into a frustrating, sometimes unsafe task, especially with sharp edges involved. A battery-operated can opener, such as the Kitchen Mama Auto electric can opener, removes almost all of that effort. You clamp it onto the rim, press one button, and it rotates around the can on its own, lifting the lid cleanly away from the sharp edge when it's done. Most models run on standard batteries and can get through dozens of cans before needing new ones. It's a small kitchen gadget, but for anyone who cooks with canned beans, tomatoes, or soup stock regularly, it removes a genuinely painful task from the weekly routine. With the can open, the next place hands often struggle is right at the cutting board itself. Gadget number 6, the non-slip suction cutting board. A cutting board that slides across the counter is more than an inconvenience. It's a real hazard, especially if you're using extra pressure to compensate for a weaker grip on the knife. Many people end up bracing the board with one hand while cutting with the other, which puts both hands closer to the blade and adds unnecessary strain. A non-slip cutting board with a suction or rubber grip base solves this by locking firmly to the counter the moment you set it down, so it won't shift no matter how much pressure you apply. Some versions also include raised edges or spikes that hold food steadily in place, which is especially helpful for slippery items like tomatoes or raw chicken. With a stable, steady surface underneath, you can focus entirely on the knife or peeler in your hand, instead of worrying about the board moving beneath you. Speaking of peelers, that's a tool most people don't realize has been redesigned for exactly this problem. Gadget number 7, the wide handle Y peeler. Traditional swivel peelers have thin, straight handles that require a tight pinch grip, and because peeling involves repeated back and forth motion, that grip gets tested dozens of times per potato or carrot. For anyone with joint pain in the fingers, that repetition can be more taxing than almost any other prep task in the kitchen. A Y-shaped peeler, like the OXO Good Grips Y peeler, changes the angle entirely, positioning the blade perpendicular to a wide contoured handle that sits comfortably across your palm rather than pinched between your fingers. That shift lets you use your whole hand and a natural downward motion instead of repetitive finger pressure. And the wider handle is also easier to hold onto if your grip strength varies from day to day. Many people who'd stopped peeling vegetables altogether find this one small swap brings the task back within reach. And speaking of things people quietly give up on, that brings us to something almost every recipe eventually asks for. Gadget number 8, lever handle, measuring cups. If you've ever tried to level off a cup of flour or sugar using the flat edge of a knife while holding the cup steady with your other hand, you know it takes more coordination and grip strength than it seems like it should. Standard measuring cups also require you to tip and pour carefully, which can be tricky if your wrist doesn't rotate as smoothly as it used to. Lever handle measuring cups are designed with an adjustable sliding piece built into the cup itself, so you set the amount you need, and a built-in scraper levels it off automatically as you pull the lever back. There's no separate tool to juggle, and no careful tipping required. Some versions also work for both dry and liquid ingredients, cutting down on the number of tools you need out on the counter at once. With your ingredients measured, the next place hands tend to struggle is boiling water for tea or your morning coffee. Gadget number 9, the one-touch electric kettle. Lifting a stovetop kettle full of hot water and pouring it steadily takes real wrist strength and control, and the risk of a slip or spill is genuinely higher than most people realize. Even filling a traditional kettle at the sink, then carrying it to the stove, asks a lot of a hand that tires easily. A one-touch electric kettle with a cordless base and an ergonomic, wider handle solves both problems at once. You fill it at the sink, set it on its base, and press a single button. No stovetop lifting, no carrying a heavy pot of boiling water across the kitchen. Many models also include an automatic shutoff once the water reaches a boil, so there's no need to stand and monitor it closely. It's a small change in routine that removes one of the more quietly dangerous tasks in daily cooking. And speaking of jars, there's actually a low-tech backup worth having for the days your grip needs extra help. Before we get to that one, quick note. If any of these gadgets have already made a difference in your kitchen, drop a comment below and let us know which one. It genuinely helps other folks figure out where to start. Gadget number 10, the rubber grip jar opening pad. Even with an electric opener nearby, there are moments, camping, a friend's kitchen, a jar that's just slightly out of a device's size range, where you need a simple manual backup. Trying to twist a lid with dry or slightly damp hands often means your grip slips before the lid ever budges, which can be more discouraging than not trying at all. A rubber grip pad is a thin, textured disc you press over the lid before twisting, and it dramatically increases friction between your palm and the metal, so your hand doesn't slide. Because it's flexible, it also molds slightly to your grip rather than forcing your fingers into one fixed position. It's inexpensive, it fits in a kitchen drawer without taking up any real space, and it works on nearly any size lid. As a low-cost backup to the electric opener, it covers the gaps other gadgets can't. From opening jars, the next task on our list is one that surprises people with how physically demanding it actually is: chopping herbs and pizza. Gadget number 11, the rocking Mezzaluna chopper. Mincing garlic, chopping fresh herbs, or slicing a pizza with a standard knife or rolling wheel cutter all rely on repeated pressure from your fingers and wrist. And for delicate tasks like mincing, that repetition happens dozens of times in quick succession. A Mezzaluna, a curved half-moon blade with a handle on top, or its rounder rocking blade, pizza cutter cousin, changes the motion completely. Instead of gripping and pushing forward, you simply rock the blade side to side using your palm and body weight, letting the curve of the blade do the cutting work for you. Because your fingers aren't doing the gripping and squeezing, the strain on your joints drops significantly, even during longer chopping sessions. Many people keep one on the counter specifically for herbs, since fresh basil, parsley, and cilantro come up in so many recipes. Once your prep work is easier, the next struggle usually shows up while something's actually cooking on the stove. Gadget number 12, the automatic pan stirrer. Risotto, gravy, sauces, anything that needs frequent stirring over a stretch of 10 or 15 minutes asks your wrist to do the same small rotating motion again and again without a break. For a hand that fatigues quickly, that alone can turn a favorite recipe into something you avoid making. An automatic pan stirrer, like the StirMate or the utensil stir, is a small battery-powered device with rotating arms that clip onto the edge of your pot or pan and stir continuously on their own at an adjustable speed while you do something else entirely. Most versions are splash resistant and work in anything from a small saucepan to a large stock pot. It won't replace you for every step, but for the long stretches of stirring that used to wear your hand out, it takes over completely. With the stove handled, the next gadget on our list addresses a different kind of cooking many people have quietly stopped doing altogether. Gadget number 13, the Easy Lift Slow Cooker. A standard slow cooker often comes with a heavy ceramic insert and a lid you have to lift and set aside carefully, sometimes while it's full of hot liquid. For anyone with weaker grip strength, lifting a full, hot ceramic pot with two thin side handles is genuinely risky. And it's a big reason some people give up on slow cooking, even though it's one of the easiest ways to prepare a meal. Newer slow cooker models are built with wide cushioned side handles and lighter weight inserts specifically designed to be easier to lift and carry, and some include locking lids that clip into place for safer transport if you need to bring the dish somewhere. A few models even offer a removable insert you can bring straight to the table, cutting out an extra transfer step entirely. Slow cooking is one of the lowest effort ways to get a real meal on the table, and the right model makes it accessible again. Next up is a gadget that solves a problem almost everyone runs into without realizing it has a fix. Gadget number 14, the suction base mixing bowl. Whisking eggs, mixing batter, or stirring a marinade all rely on one hand holding the bowl steady while the other does the work, and a bowl that slides across the counter forces your stabilizing hand to grip far harder than it should need to. That extra bracing effort often goes unnoticed until your hand starts aching partway through a recipe. A mixing bowl with a suction or non-slip rubber base solves this the same way a non-slip cutting board does. It locks to the counter the moment you press it down, so both of your hands are free to focus on the actual mixing rather than holding things in place. Many versions also come with a pour spout and a lid, so you can mix, store, and pour from the same bowl without extra dishes to manage. It's a simple fix, but it takes pressure off both hands at once instead of just one. And for the last gadget on this list, we're covering a tool that helps with almost everything else on this list together. Gadget number 15, long-handled reacher tongs. Bending down to a low cabinet, reaching to the back of a high shelf, or lifting a heavy pot lid off the stove, all ask your hands and wrists to grip and twist in awkward positions, often at the exact moment your hands are already tired from cooking. Long-handled reacher tongs, the kind with a trigger grip and a set of gripping jaws at the far end, let you retrieve items from high shelves, low cabinets, or the back of the pantry without bending, stretching, or gripping tightly at an odd angle. Around the stove, they also work well for lifting lids, turning items in a hot pan from a safer distance, or steadying a pot without getting your hand near the heat. It's less of a single-task gadget and more of an all-purpose assist that quietly supports everything else you're doing in the kitchen. 15 gadgets, and not one of them requires you to change how you cook, only how much your hands have to fight to get there. None of these 15 gadgets ask you to change your recipes, your routine, or the meals you love to cook. From the electric jar opener and loop handle scissors that remove the toughest grips in the kitchen, to the rocker knife, built-up utensils, and non-slip board that make prep safer, to the kettle, slow cooker, and mixing bowl that take heavy lifting and holding off your hands entirely, each one solves a very specific, very common frustration. The truth is, struggling with a jar lid or a can opener has nothing to do with losing your ability to cook well. It just means the tool was designed for someone else's hands, not yours. The right gadget doesn't replace your skill in the kitchen, it just clears the obstacle standing between you and it. Take a look at your own kitchen and think about which one of these 15 would make the biggest difference for you tomorrow morning. Then let us know in the comments which gadget you're trying first. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and subscribe. We cover a new practical kitchen or home solution like this every week.